Hey guys, it's Double D in the morning again, and this is Double D in the Friday morning, episode 39, History of Cartoons, part 30, the story of Genndy Tartakovsky. He was born on January 15, 1970, in Moscow, Russia, during the era of the USSR. And from Jewish heritage, his dad was a dentist for the USSR, for the national hockey team, and his mom was a school principal. He moved to the United States when he was 7, but before he moved to the United States when he was 7, he briefly lived in Italy. He moved to the United States when he was 7 because of fears of anti-Semitism in Russia at the time. His family originally moved to Columbus, Ohio when they settled in America, but then moved to Chicago, where he enrolled in the University of Illinois with an art major hoping to make a cartoonist, where he met future animator and cartoon creator Rob Renzetti. And eventually they both graduated from the first school and got accepted into the California Institute of Arts, or Cal Arts, where they were roommates. He also met fellow animator and creator of the Powerpuff Girls, Craig McCracken, while he was at Cal Arts. He met Fred in the mid to late 90s. After he graduated from Cal Arts, this is Fred Seibert, by the way, that's who I was talking about. As he was the head of the Hanna-Barbera division of Cartoon Network at the time, he told him about the new short subject cartoon show that he was going to create called What a Cartoon. Like he had told Craig McCracken, his college friend, and his other college friend, Rob Renzetti. They all three made shorts for the What a Cartoon show, but Genndy in total made 4 of the Dexter's Laboratory short. The first of the 4 test pilots was called Dexter's Lab, and the same episode re-aired as part of the actual show, but the title of the episode was changed to Changes. This first short introduces Dexter's mom and Dexter's sister Dee Dee and Dexter. As they're getting ready for school in the morning, Dee Dee goes into Dexter's room and finds him in his lab, and finds him working on a magic remote that can turn people into animals. And hilarity ensues. This is the second What a Cartoon pilot short called The Big Sister. In this one, Dexter has radioactive chocolate chip cookies that he is using on his test rats. Dee Dee notices the cookies and wants some, so she dresses up as a rat, and one of her radioactive cookie that's in the test turns her into a giant. But the title is also a pun because she is his big sister. And throughout the short, she destroys the town with her big naivete, idiotic big body. Being only 9 or 6 at the time, she's very naive and didn't realize what's going on with her. And Dexter has to come to the rescue with his giant Dexel Robo. The main plot of Old Man Dexter is he's wanting to see, week after week, he wants to see the late evening movie, but his mom won't let him because he's not old enough to stay up. Not that it's rated R, it's a late evening family movie that he tries week after week, month after month, and always the same thing, he's sent to bed. Well, he goes into this age-changing machine, and while he's in the machine, Dee Dee steps over the wires, or tries to, but she messes them up and resets the wires. But as she messes with the machine, he goes from, instead of a 21-year-old, because that's what he set the machine to like an 89 or something like that year old. Hence the Old Man Dexter, because he becomes an old man that everybody else thinks is his mom's dad, or grandpa as they call him. Dimwit Dexter is the 4th pilot short, or 4th What a Cartoon short subject cartoon that he made for the What a Cartoon show. In this particular short, he's studying so hard that he cracks under the pressure and basically loses his common sense and starts acting like an idiot, or a normal kid his age. You know how they do goofy things. But at the end of the short, he cools down and he goes back to normal and runs into the house after kissing the butt of a duck when he comes to and realizes what he's done. During the process of these What a Cartoon shorts, they had a CartoonNetwork.com, and they had a voting thing of the fans to tell them which one they were going to make into a show. Dexter was the first show from the What a Cartoon. They made it into an actual series. It was voted by the fans and became the first cartoon. This is the logo for the show. Dexter's Laboratory. This is Dexter, the protagonist of the show, the youngest in his family of 2 kids. But he comes from the smart side of the family, which he gets from his mom and his granddad on that side, his maternal grandfather. And he is the smartest person at his whole entire school until the episode Dexter's Rival. But more about that character later. This is the original voice of Dexter from the first 4 shorts on What a Cartoon to the first 2 seasons of the show. Christine Cavanaugh was the original voice of Dexter. When Christine left the show because she was retiring from voice acting, Candy Milo took over the role of Dexter. After the first run of the first 2 seasons, and after they revived the show for 2 extra seasons, Candy Milo took over the role. This is Dexter's mom. She's a no-nonsense type of mom that is going to be listened to, and she likes keeping a clean house. She is also where Dexter gets the smarts, because it comes from her and her side of the family. But she is also a 1950s and 1960s stereotype caricature of that kind of mom from that kind of TV sitcom, or more so a parody of it, if you will. And this is her voice, Kath Soucie, who voiced the character from 96 to 03, all 4 seasons. While Dexter's mom was the stereotypical matriarch on the show, this is Dexter's dad, and he is more like Dee Dee. He has a steady job and works the majority of the time of the show and is seen less more than the mom. The mom is seen more. But they both have episodes, the mom and the dad, that are centered towards the character. Like Dad's Chair, or Dad's Trophy, or another dad cartoon, or a dad cartoon. It is shown in the episode The Muffin King that he married their mom because he just loved her cooking. So he is also a stereotypical kind of spoof of the timeline of the 50s and 60s sitcom dad. He's also where Dee Dee gets the dumb blonde thing from. He's not all that smart. Dexter's dad was voiced by Jeff Bennett from 96 to 03. As the dad character wasn't introduced until the show premiered as a show in 96, until it concluded in 03. This is Dee Dee, Dexter's older sister on the show Dexter's Lab. She gets her smarts from her dad's side of the family, as they're both just okay. They're not dumb, but they're not geniuses. She comes into his lab every day, behind the bookcase, through the rug tube, all kinds of different ways, and pesters him and destroys his lab because she's like 10 or 9, but she acts like a toddler and doesn't show any respect for Dexter's lab and the stuff she doesn't understand. To her, his lab is just one gigantic playground. This is the original voice of Dee Dee, Allison Moore. From the first short subject she was in, Changes or Dexter's Lab, to Season 1, to parts of Season 2 and parts of Season 3. She was replaced by Kat Casarati for the remainder of the show. This is Mandark, Dexter's Rival, which was he was introduced in the episode Dexter's Rival. In matter of opinion, or by the fans of the show, he is considered smarter than Dexter. He could even read telepathic thoughts and be kind of psychic, if you will. It is shown in the first episode that he premiered in Dexter's Rival that Dexter's got a big lab, while Mandark's got a huge lab. They have your stereotypical student-teacher pet rivalry, where they try to both be the best and the biggest nerd, if you will, in the smart universe on this show. They both have a big rivalry on who's the best student at Huber Elementary, their school. But it's said on the president of Dexter's Rival that he is going to be the best, Mandark. The episode starts out as Dexter is thrilled for the first day of school, knowing that he's going to be the teachers and the faculty's favorite, the faculty and the staff, until Mandark comes into play. This is the voice of Mandark, Eddie Deasy. From 96 to 03, he voiced the rival on the show, Mandark. This is Dial In for Monkey, the first segment within a segment on Dexter's Lab show. you would have one Dexter's Lab segment and one Dial-In for Monkey segment, and then another Dexter's Lab segment. The Dial-In for Monkey segment was a parody of superhero type stuff, like, Batman and his dog, or Superman and his dog, except this Superman type character was a monkey, a radioactive super monkey called Monkey, that gets called in by his SHIELD agent friend, Agent Honeydew, a beautiful lady that's his partner. This particular segment had 5 segments of its own, of times that it was on the Dexter's Lab show. The character Monkey, the main monkey in the segment, was a world-renowned character that everybody knew in the universe as the world-saving Monkey the Monkey that saves everybody and is the superhero of the universe that everybody knows. But to unbeknownst to Dexter, his pet monkey is Monkey the Monkey from Dial-In the Monkey. They're both in the same universe, but it's a separate segment, because he's Dexter's pet monkey, and it's kind of like a show within a show type of thing. And everything about this segment is parody, from the villains to him being connected to the Honeydew character, which is rumored of bestiality in an opinion, to the commander being like Nick Fury. It's 100% parody, and it's one of my favorite parts of the show. This is Dexter's pet monkey and the main monkey character from the segment. He's got a sonic blast that can come from his mouth. He's got radiating heat from his body when he uses his superpowers. He's got heat vision, all your basic superhero stuff that Superman or something like that would have. But the catch is, he's just a monkey. He's just a pet monkey that no one knows that he's really Monkey the superhero. He was voiced by Frank Welker in each of the 5 segments. This is his partner, Honeydew, but also when he's in superhero mode, might be considered like his co-owner. It's also considered his love interest. She's definitely somewhat of a caretaker to him, and she treats him like a pet, in a loving way that a pet would love their owner. She is voiced by Kath Soucie in all the segments of the Honeydew and Monkey, including in the intro when she says, "The Earth's in trouble, Monkey, we need your help." That's her. And in the very last segment, where she just simply says, "Here he goes." Oh, there he goes. This is another segment between segments called Justice Friends, which is a parody of the Justice League and Marvel and DC characters, which is not just the name of the segment, but the Justice Friends is their version of the Justice League. And the segment is about the 3 members of the Justice Friends, the group: the Infractable Kronk, Val Hallen, and Major Glory, which is a parody of Superman, Captain America, and mashed up together the Hulk and Thor. As which, this version of the Justice Friends, these particular 3, they say in the intro, they face the challenge of everyday life. It's also a parody of something like The Odd Couple, or An Isle of Lucy or Mary Tyler Moore Show. It's 3 guys that happen to be superheroes living in an apartment, in a parody of a 1970s or 1960s sitcom type of style. Dial-In for Monkey was on the 1st season, and this segment between segments was on the 2nd season of the original run. It revolves around Major Glory, the more serious of the 3, living with the 2 bumbling Kronk and Val Hallen, which Val Hallen is a mashup of Van Halen, the name, and the fact that he's the rocking god, and Thor. And Kronk is a parody of the Incredible Hulk. The other two are less incompetent and more immature and childlike. But that's where the comedy in this segment comes from. Major Glory is the leader of the household and the Justice Friends. This is Rob Paulsen, the voice of Major Glory. Rob Paulsen gave a very stern and fatherly voice to the Major Glory character, but he also had his Major Glory the character. Rob Paulsen also gave him some funny points too. This is Major Glory, the character I mentioned earlier. He's the leader of the Justice Friends and the leader of the Justice Friends apartment when they're at home too. He is a stern traditionalist, a parody of a very patriotic American. But as much as a leader as the character is, he can come across as a bit of a wimp, as he's afraid of bees and he's allergic to cats, and does anything and everything to get a bee or a cat out of the house. And this is Tom Kenny, the voice of Valhalla, the Viking god of rock. This is a picture of Valhalla, the character that is Tom Kenny's character. He is a combination of Eddie Van Halen and Thor, because he is the Greek god of rock. And his rock and roll is his superpower that gives him all of his magic axe guitar. The enchanted axe is his source of his power, but it's also basically a fancy electric guitar. This is the third parody character, the Inflammable Crunk, a parody of the Incredible Hulk. This character is the biggest and the strongest, but he's also the dumbest. He was voiced by Frank Welker. This is a promo picture for Dexter's Laboratory Ego Trip, the series finale animated TV movie, which is based on the show, and delves into time travel. In the first of the movie, these futuristic robots come to Dexter and saying, "We've got to destroy the savior of the future." Well, he time travels into the future to meet his other future self, called number 12, and then he time travels even more into the future to see an older version of himself, similar to the old man Dexter. And then he travels into the utopian future that is supposed to be the green ego. But in the story, MANDARK has found the ego in the past that the number 12 Dexter left in the office, in the cubicle. And he turned the positive ego energy into negative and made the utopian future that you saw earlier in the story into a big Neanderthal apocalyptic mess of the future, from switching the ego to negative. As the four of the different versions of Dexter battle to save the future, they find out that it was Dee Dee that saved the future, and it was themselves that made the robots, told the robots to go kill the person that saved the future, which wasn't Dexter at all, it was Dee Dee. After Ego Trip, he left the Dexter's Lab show to create this show, Samurai Jack, a show about an 18th century samurai that was forward in time to the 21st century by Aku, his nemesis. This is Phil Lamar, the voice of Samurai Jack. And as Samurai Jack is the main hero of the show, this is Aku, the main antagonist, who for centuries and centuries is terrorizing Asia and Japan, and including in the modern 21st century. Aku's and Samurai Jack's original battle lasted from 2001 to 2004 in an open-ended ending that didn't leave a conclusion, and that didn't get a conclusion until 2017 when he finally kills Aku. This is the original voice of Aku, Maku, from 2001 to 2004. He did not reprise the role, however, because he died 2 years after the show ended, because he died in 2006. Instead, Greg Baldwin, right here, replaced him in the 2017 reboot. This is Samurai Jack's love interest in the show that he loves through all 4 and 5 seasons. But what he doesn't realize is she is chronologically connected to the dad in the story. So when he dies in 2017 and he kills her dad, she disappears too. But it was a forbidden love anyway. Kind of a Romeo and Juliet type of story. And they were finally going to get married in 2017 towards the series finale, but she disappears because they were going to get married right after he had killed her dad. But they're connected, so she disappeared. And she was voiced by the great Tara Strong for all 5 seasons. After the original timeline of the original Samurai Jack quit, he went on to develop and co-create with George Lucas the Star Wars The Clone Wars, a 2D animated series based on the Star Wars Clone Wars franchise for Cartoon Network. He also created and directed the Hotel Transylvania franchise, the animated movie franchise, which is a franchise about a hotel ran by Dracula called Hotel Transylvania, and a 15-year-old or 1500-year-old teenage daughter named Mavis that marries a human boy named Johnny, voiced by Andy Samberg. And Dracula is voiced by Adam Sandler, and the daughter is voiced by Selena Gomez. Big long story, but it's worth checking out because it's great. My next video is going to be about Joe Murray. Double D in the Friday Morning, episode 30, the story of Joe Murray. So remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit the notification bell if you liked this video, especially if you want to hear about Joe Murray next week. And remember to follow me on my Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, and my Facebook fan group, Drew's YouTube fan group. And just to give you a heads up, this is what the thumbnail for next week's video is going to look like.